Frankie. I hope that you're doing well today. It's been a nice couple of days. It's been a productive couple of days. I have been sorting through all the work that I've done in the last 3 or 4 years, especially the last year though, as well as like projects that I've been working on for a long time, and working on my business plan. Right, like a sequence of action that ties them all together. Like I've got a lot of projects that I really believe in that I think are fun to work on that have serious potential to grow into something awesome and unique and to create a framework for collaborations. And I'm working on reaching out to like several artists in the field who are already working on things and getting their input, getting their energy on it to make it something more than it already is. So building some frameworks that could be used as like an example of making cool projects. And I'm working into a business plan, right? Like I'm working on putting together a basic how to draw series with just like a compilation of all of the best things that I've learned. Because drawing's like this massive, massive skill tree. But then there's definitely moments when you pick up a new technique that is exactly lined up with where you're at. It was like a little bit above where you're at, where there's a challenge to it, but it's not overwhelming and it's engaging. And you're like, oh, I can add this onto what I already have. It multiplies like your growth curve. So to try and put all of those things together in a way with the language that I understand. A lot of art stuff is like kind of it's like a high school homework assignment for sure. It's like all this like technical speak, and I'm like just like stripped down to the most simple and basic parts, and then you do it. You know, you engage with it, and that's where I'm at. So like how to draw basic shapes, how to do shading, and when you block things down into basic shapes and you understand the lighting and shading, then you can build like anything, and you're just like adding different like forms into your arsenal until you have them memorized. You know, like you want to draw wolves, and then you want to draw like enchanted wolves with horns, or they're like bigger and have like swirling designs on them. Spirit wolves, so they're made out of like fire. It's moving, right? Like these enchanted creatures, or it's glowing. And there's all kinds of ways you can capture those effects. And you can like look at different people's creature designs already, or you can look at patterns and textures from different pottery and carvings and temples. Yeah, Fengzu is the design master, and he'll tell you to like not go to other people's designs, but to the base elements that they use to compose those designs, so that you can get an original composition. But obviously, you take inspiration from everywhere as well. And when it comes to like blocking in shapes and forms, I was thinking of doing a series on like Final Fantasy 7 and 8, where I look at all of their monster designs, and then you block them in from 3 dimensions from a bunch of different angles, just to look at how you can start drawing any type of thing, because the shape design in those games is so diverse and fun. It's like the enemies are always surprising, and Final Fantasy VII is like the OG. It's super cool. And then you go up to remake, where you see like those base designs, but then with a lot more complexity and detail added, and do a little bit of that. Um, and there's like so many things that you could do, like setting up a studio space with the right tools and momentum. Right now, it doesn't look like I'm doing a lot, but all the time I'm like sorting through this in my head, um, and like thinking about what is the next best step forward. And sometimes I'm planning for the future, and it's like, oh, that would be really interesting, or that'd be a cool thing to work on, or those two things work together in an interesting way. Um, no. Uh, I've got a series of these guys. Bam. These are really cool. This is drywall, and yeah, it's just like drywall plaster, and then I blasted with spray paint from lots of different angles, and you can see the way it catches light is awesome. And this is part of a series showing how anyone can make art and anyone can make art awesome. Because I made this in like 10 minutes and then 10 minutes of spray painting it, right? And it's not like, I mean, the swirling effects and patterns or whatever. I've got like years of like practicing drawing, but honestly, you don't need that to be able to make something this cool. And I made some of them that were even way cooler than this. And I mean, this is just the base coat with spray paint, a bunch of different colors from a bunch of different angles, so it reads different colors on the different sides. Um, and they're so fun. I dreamed of like putting together a tutorial series because the materials used to make this is like under $5. It's like a $2 canvas and like less than $2 of drywall and spray paint. And you could probably use higher quality materials that would chip less. But this thing's been around for years, and it's not chipped like at all. And I made some of them that are so fucking cool. There's like liquid metal type designs, and it's part of a series looking at how everyone can create art and everyone can make something beautiful. You can start to expand your imagination by engaging with fun activities and tools. Um, no, and just that, I'm like, you know, dreamed of like getting that art project out to every school in America, which is like 200,000 schools, and then beyond, you know, to get global. I think of people in like Africa and Jamaica. You get this rainbow colored, like magical dreamscape that you can make and you can innovate onto it. Like there's infinite number of swirls and patterns and textures you can do with just that. But then to also open source it, where it's like, can someone figure out a way of progression to make this even cooler? So engaging collaborative art projects, which is something from a studio space, like putting together how to do that would take like, I don't know, you could do it comprehensively in 1 week. We'd have a whole shit ton of different examples, the materials you need to make new work. They're really fun to make. And when I was making them, this is back when I had a studio space in like 2016, man. Um, and I did a whole bunch of work in that space. It was the only time that I like woke up and had like all the tools in the space that I needed to just like uh, use my mind as effectively as possible. And I'd love to get that again when you have like the right time and space, right? An uncluttered and clean space with a room specifically dedicated to your work, another room specifically dedicated to your entertainment, and another room to your rest, your respite, to just like sleep and release all of those projects and all that entertainment and just come back to center and come back to self with the breath work and the meditation and the yoga and everything that you can do to support your natural equilibrium and to put you in your power, you know? Like read a book for a while. I love reading, and it's been a long ass time since I've done that. Almost at all. So setting that up, and also just like getting the time and space to dream of that. Like, oh my god, it would be so fun. You could do drawing tutorials of anything, like looking at how you do action sequences, how you do character designs, right? How you do hair and textures like leather and cloth and just like patterning from all different places around the world. Like what's European patterning, you know, what's Rococo style, what's Art Nouveau. There's all of these different design languages, like Hindu style, these temples and mosques, like that Middle Eastern type mosques are so cool and blown. But then use your imagination to take them a step further. Stuff in Final Fantasy, you know, has reference in all of our temples, our rich mythology and culture from around the world, but then it takes on a life of its own. it's like elevated to the level of dreams, and like the teams engaging with their imagination. They're like neo-Buddhist style. They're gods and deities from like ancient mythology, but then through religion, and then just like a fresh modern take with the remixability of technology. They're telling stories that have never been told before. So even though it like is similar to all of these things, they're doing it in a unique way that showcases the passion and imagination of the whole design team, Asian design team, um, and to look at like how you make stories, you know, and to also review complementary work. Like I even if I'm just doing like this is how I practice. This is like the few exercises that build my short-term memory into the drawing uh, framework, right? So you do some shapes, you do some shading, you do some line work, right? And then you do some gesture work. You do a couple warm-up practice things to like get those in your head, and then you can design anything. So there's like a sequence of warm ups that I've developed over years and taken from different places, but you can hone in on whatever you're working on specifically. Like if you're just doing the conceptual stages for a story and you want to do character design, then you look at a bunch of different design and put it together. You know, listen to some Ahmed Al-Douri, Cynic's Design, Feng Zhu, uh, Peter Han, all these dudes, the whole crew at Lightbox, which is like the most fantastic online arts collective. But to kind of make, you know, if you're jumping from one teacher to another teacher to another teacher, it's hard to get like the consistency, smooth consistency that you get when you can just like sit down and work from like point A to B. So to have more long form stuff. And when I'm developing content, I'm thinking like in my own arts education journey, what was the content that I was looking for and wasn't finding? Even with all these master artists and designers, I was like, I would love someone that would just like sit here and do designs with me for like a couple hours and do the exercises, you know. And even once you know how to do the exercises, just have a series where we do them together, right? Like a workout routine, like a workout video, a breathwork video, a yoga video, like having the video and the coach there to set the momentum. And they've already built up a really good rhythm. So I'd be building up a really good rhythm. You can like jump onto that rhythm and use that to hone your abilities, to focus your craft, and to start engaging at a little bit higher level. That's some of the joy of teachers. Um, and that's not all I've been doing. I've been doing like a retrospective on Final Fantasy, looking at my favorite games, thinking of, you know, if you're making creative content for something like cloud projects, crowdfunding projects, stuff like a Patreon, you get yourself sustainable, then what are passion projects you can engage with? You know, like for yourself, you know, voice acting work is even like professional, but then like if you're picking up arts and hobbies and you're sharing that content as well, like as a streamer, you know, your communication in the space that you create for your audience, and that shared connection, you know, is beautiful. And it adds value to the work. And if you're learning something, you don't have to be a master artist, but just to show the progress that you've made can honestly be like the most motivating thing. Like sometimes you don't want someone who's like years beyond your level, but who's kind of like there and is putting in the work and like moving up. Or like graphic design stuff, which is super cool. I've got a whole graphic design series, and it's like, yeah, you got comics, art tutorials, graphic design, stuff like I was photographing like light, where you shine like flashlights through like glasses and marble, and you create like light patterns. And I inverted them just for like a high art photography series of just like the beauty of light refractions. I like the plaster drywall things to have a multimedia arts production company that could like create complementary materials to all of the amazing arts education out there, and to create like a framework, to create like a skill tree that you can expand into. It'd be very, very cool. And we're doing like comic book projects and short stories and such, and the creative resources at the same time, which is something that I advocate for. I feel like, if you're making an awesome game, movie, show, then you're behind the scenes and showcasing the skills that you use to make that thing becomes a hyper valuable asset that is almost always underutilized. I would love an in-depth behind the scenes on every single thing that I love, that would like expand to your interest in it. Like I'd be down for a 100-hour documentary series on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or Remake, where it's like they talk to like every member of the crew. What is their contributions? What is their workflow? Um, and you could start to make these things. I know that's like ambitious, but like you could create a school of design, um, for anything. And if you're really invested in the story of the game, like the information behind it is good, but it adds the passion that's attached to that project. Um, so working on the framework, and I'm getting really solid like business plan to pitch to investors, for like making valuable content in the studio space. That opening up space to do stuff like passion streams for beloved games, right? Or like talking about what my favorite media is, or just like talking to other people about what their favorite media is, and there's a kind of a difference there, where I'm super interested in other artists, creators, content creators, streamers, like what has been their experience, what is their motivation, what is captivating about these art forms, what do they resonate with, and that shared resonance with their audience, that shared space. It's a sense of magic. It touches our lives, it changes our lives, it changes who we are, and it sets a higher trajectory. You know, you're just like going on your favorite piece of art or media or something like changes your visions of the future and who you want to become, your expectations and beliefs, and changing those things on that fundamental level is the biggest thing, like making someone be like, yeah, I want to pursue my dreams, whatever those dreams will be, and you'll rise to the challenge, whatever those challenges will be, um, to take a risk and to bet on adventure, and to not live your life on autopilot, to go for it, um, and to keep things fun and to help people along the way. I love that heroic adventurous sense of just like while you're moving through this world, help the people that you can, that you run into in any way that you can. If you're already doing good, like if you've got to fight just to get by, it's okay to keep your head down for a while. For real, you have to do for yourself first. But if you have a lot of energy, you're in a good place, you've got motivation, then I feel like there's an obligation to service to just try to help the people around you at least a little bit. That's something that always gives my life meaning. It's not like I'm helping them so that I get like good person points or something. I'm helping them for me, because that's like my heroes and who I want to be and the impact that I want to have in the world. It comes from a selfish desire to help people, and I feel like it should. Like you're helping people out of a selfish desire, then you're not giving of yourself. You're not losing something. You don't have to be compensated back for it in some way. You're not doing it for brownie points. You're just doing it like for the experience, and to become who you want to be, and to put that ripple effect into the world, and like pay it forward is something I always say to people. If I can help them out in some way, I'm just like, hey, if and when you can, when it's convenient for you, if it doesn't put you out at all, you know, help someone else out there. And to imagine that like ripple effect continues. And then, you know, you've spent an afternoon and helped someone in some way. They help someone else. They help someone else. It's a gift that keeps giving, you know, and together we keep each other going, you know? And to think about like, you know, that ripple effect moving above and beyond. Um, so I love thinking about like building an interview show with like whenever I find an awesome streamer or an artist or designer. Artists and designers are terribly reclusive, but streamers are amazingly prolific and build up this momentum of communication where they jump out there and every day, like wherever you're at, you give it your best. And that's so cool. You know, that's so admirable. They're easy to approach and to talk to. So to like, you know, just build a fun podcast interview series where you talk to different creative professionals and just to listen, you know, to be able to be a witness in that case would be super cool. You know, it's a really long form way of saying, would you like to have an interview sometime? I would love to know what are your personal experiences with games and life, and like what are your favorite colors? You know, what have been some formative experiences? Uh, you know, what has been the driving force or motivation, and how have those things changed over the years? But specifically also to video games and like you know, Twitch streaming. Like who were some content creators that were inspirational to you, and how were they inspirational to you? Um, that'd be really cool. No, I saw you do like one podcast with those dudes, and I was like, yo, it could have been better. It was not that it was bad, not that it was bad, but just like not only dwelling with your thoughts, but also just capturing fun moments together. Uh, Now I think that would be really fun, but obviously, like if you were there for it, if not, it's totally cool. Um, I don't mind. Uh, Now the future is like super exciting. The future is super exciting. I love to think about like skill building, right? Any skill that you'd like to build, there's like a course for it. There's a master class series online, super good. They're kind of expensive, but like Mind Valley, really good series of courses for like optimizing yourself and like creating vision for your dreams. So super open ended. Those dreams can be anything, whether it's an arts production company or building the best Twitch platform in the entire world, right? To become the queen of Twitch, but in a way that's super positive, like a benevolent, righteous queen, you know? A queen of positive energy and joy and tolerance and, you know, like good morals, but with a sense of fun and playfulness. You know, you gotta have like that spark, that sense of danger, but in a safe space. Um, and things like building collectives of Twitch streamers where you could like talent scout people, and then if you had like a guild of people where it's like if you're interested in this kind of content, here's a bunch of different streamers and you could give them assets. There's some people that do this already, but I haven't seen the guild system used much where you could like set up your schedule so you're streaming at complementary times with like a team, so there's like always someone on there, um, so that you know you could be part of a whole community. Because that was like initially when I went to Twitch, I'm like, you know, you're awesome. I want to try and catch stream as much as I can, and then like other people are awesome. You know, Lee XP, Nixie Puff, uh, like so many. You know, AJ, Lemon Bun, Noah, all these folks, but then it's like, okay, obviously it'd be impossible to catch like 1/4 of all of those people's streams, right? So if you could have like a team of like editors who can, take that content and like find moments, and also like not like training, but like tips, like comprehensive tips about like how do you capture a unique value that is resonant to your personality and your style. It's different for every person, but finding like what is your niche, how can you engage with it, how can you keep it fun for you so you can keep it fun for the audience, and then to streamline that content, like Mr. Critical, every day like the stream, but then the YouTube video that he edits in like less than an hour. Um, uh, no, that's very cool. I mean, just like starting at the ground level and putting things together, all of a sudden you have a foundation. And if you're building content, then you can expand on it. You can expand on it in really cool, organic ways. Uh, hmm. uh, Probably smoking too many cigarettes, but I'm working on cutting them out of my life in this transitionary period. Um, uh, and just use where I'm at and the focus that I've got to create something good, and then to use the energy from that act of creation to just be like a positive, supportive role model for my family, my little brother and sister especially, uh, and then the dreams of that moving forward too. Like, shit, I've got success. I can buy my little brother all the best games as they come out. That dream, a really good computer and media setup. Like, whew, they're so good. And for my little sister as well, like all the best arts tools, a really good studio space so that she can engage her craft. She's an amazing painter and designer as well, and illustrator, and has done like bleach painting, fashion design, and like ran that at a farmer's market most successfully. And we're out here in the sticks in the middle of nowhere. If you were in like a thriving city space and had a really good studio space and routine to build up those skills, um, she could have like an absolutely thriving business, and has proved it through the work and the success in the work that she's already done. So to be able to support that, and just to see them taking on their dreams, like a good video game or something. You don't want to tell someone exactly what to do or where to go. It's up to them to give them the freedom and the sovereignty, to make them sovereign of their own destinies, but with the support and guidance to be as safe and productive, to make as many meaningful experiences and memories, to get as many positive examples in their space while still maintaining that sovereignty, you know? So to create like a really good framework, like a game designer that supports the player, that encourages them, that gives them challenges that are right at their level. You don't jump up there where you die instantly. And you don't go down there where you've already cleared it like a million times. You keep a nice level sense of progression. That sense of progression is like part of the biggest joys of life. Whether you're skill building, learning, you're going to school for something, whatever you're doing, to have it be like, you're prepared for the task, but at the same time it's a little bit above that. So you're striving, you're innovating, you're upping the weights on your reps just a little bit more each time at the perfect level, so you hit that flow state. You hit that flow state and you keep it going. And that just invites all kinds of amazing like synchronicities with the universe. If you're in a really good rhythm, you're in a positive flow space, you're engaging with things that you love at a great level, then in the free space, in the adventures that you have. You go out to a cafe and you're listening to your favorite music, and you meet someone super interesting who happens to be interested in the same niche things that you are, and you're having just this awesome conversation about like the different turns your lives have taken up to this point, this chance meeting in time. It's just like beautiful. You know, you drink just a couple glasses of wine or champagne, and the day takes on that magical glow, and you're just like in love with life. You know, you're in love with life again, and you know, you're like eating it up. You know, like the colors and the flavors around you. Like the world is not a cold, dead space. It is magical and beautiful and happening right now. Um, and to have that from a little brother and sister is incredibly motivating. But then it's like, you know, obviously, like you got to be like for your people, right? I feel like obligation to family and friends and where you come from at a healthy level. Like you want to distance yourself from toxic situations and people always, um, and that's entirely up to you what that is. Um, but at the same time, I feel like you should honor and respect where you've come from, and to try and support people that you have like an obligation to guardianship over is very important. But then beyond that, through the content that you create, if you have that as your vision, right, your mission statement and your vision moving forward, then as you're creating content that touches a much larger audience, then you can kind of extend that guardianship to a community that's so much larger than yourself. You know, to people you will never even meet, but yet your content is affecting them, impacting them, making impressions, and changing their lives too. You know, and that's magical. That's super cool. Anytime, like, if you get an email from someone, it's like, "Oh, you changed my life," like that shit matters so much. Um, and you want to be there for it at a healthy level, where you don't want to be like giving yourself all the time. Selfish altruism is a concept that I'm gonna try and like break down and explain in greater detail. But if you help people in a way that is motivating and fulfilling for yourself, that is part of your own personal journey, then like you don't get overwhelmed thinking of like, all the refugees in the world, I can't enjoy baklava. Yeah, baklava out here. I've got to build tents for these people and be Mother Teresa, right? Or like being cynical or despondent, like, oh, I can't help all of them, so I'm not even gonna help anyone, right? And then you have like Bleach, right, where Ichigo is just like, yo, I'm not gonna let bad stuff happen to people right in front of me. If I have the opportunity to change it, like he's motivated in helping people, but still in alignment with his path, you know? Like he's there for his friends, he's there for his family. He has to be strong so that he can protect them. You know, he can't give himself and sacrifice himself instantly to the world, but if he's in a position of power and has the opportunity to help someone, like the heroic mindset that you would. And it's like all Final Fantasy games as well. Like you're saving the world, but you're doing it in a way that's like they're all just following their own paths and character stories, right? They're gaining abilities, they're getting money, they're leveling up, they're doing quests that are motivating for them. And because of the energy and momentum behind that quest, it gives them the utility to help people wherever they go. You know, the scene where Urianger and Thancred and Yustola are drinking together, and Thancred's just like, "Yo, I'm gonna spend some time just like traveling around, seeing amazing places, helping people." I'm like, "Yo, I resonate with that." As much as I love studious workspace and just like losing yourself in the things that you're learning, and then the like free time of deliberation where you've learned a bunch of things, but now you can put them together in new ways, right? And you're adding your own unique personality, your imagination and intelligence to the work, and your own language, the way that you articulate it, which obviously is going to speak to everyone in your platform, everyone that is a fan of you and the stuff that you do. It's like your language will be more resonant than someone else's, right? Like than an analytical textbook or something. So if you put your personality into it, then that emotional resonance that your audience already shares with you makes the information accessible again. Right? Like if you're just doing like, you're like, I could book club, but like what is the point? There's already a book that says everything that's in the book hyper concisely. But a hyper concise like book, you know, isn't as alive as you honestly and genuinely explaining, like friend to friend, like what were the takeaways and what were the things that spoke to you about that. And then it's not like, you know, you're just giving them the book like anyone else would. You're giving them your impressions of the book that they couldn't get anywhere else, and then their impressions that they get from it, if you know, you strike a chord with them, um, are going to be unique as well. Their takeaways too. Like there's a unique and shared value in every person, and then you book club together and like debate. You know, to converse and debate. Like, what were your takeaways? What did you gain from that? Uh, and that's cool. You know, you can already do that with like games and films and stuff as well. Like media clubbing online is super cool, but especially skill building type stuff. Like if you're learning to paint, you're learning fashion design and how you actually take fashion design sketches and pick out the materials, how you make blueprints for the clothes and the different sizes of clothes, how you like cut the fit in all these ways. And what tools you use with different materials, you know, what's complementary in terms of like thickness and how the cloth like folds and fits. I love different fabrics so much. I love like waxed denim jeans. It's kind of leathery, but not quite, or like ripped up jeans. Uh, there's so many cool things that you can do with denim. Denim long coats with like distressing on them with like seams in all the right places. Oh, uh, I love that. Um, but then, you know, if you make an awesome fashion design company, if you also make, how can you make fashion design as effective and cost effective as possible? You know, how do you break into it? And then you can, you know, not only inspire people that are just starting in their journey, but people that are already there as well, who might have more pieces and clues and information than you do. But just getting started and putting your content out there and being honest and transparent opens those doors. You know, it really does. It opens doors all over the place. Um, and then you can kind of fall in love with it all over again. Um, and that's just super cool. Like making long form stuff, and then you can edit it down to really concise bits. So you can just start and create long form content and to be honest and spontaneous, right? Or if, even if you have bullet points and like some kind of a loose script, to be able to just improvise can capture unique dynamic moments and things that are unique to your personality, things that are have emotional resonance. I've been thinking about all of these things all day. Yeah, like how do you build this thing from the ground level? What are like the key starting points, and how could they expand? And not to like set it in that it has to expand in any way, but to create an open-ended space where you can move uh, move with your inspiration. You know, whatever you're most excited about, you can go for to take that rhythm and momentum of excitement with you, and to charge the work that you're doing with that flow state. Um, very very cool. And if I had to break down like the a presentation, it's like a very like simplified but unbeatable form. It's like 3 months to half a year on graphic design and t-shirt design to do like tutorials and get this whole content of work out there, and to get a nice sustainable passive income from that, and to hire a team that could continue to do those things. Like, I've already got a lot of tools and techniques that I've developed, and the shirts look super cool, and they're like the coolest shirts. Um, but then for all of the different techniques and patterns in there, there could be 10 or 20 times as many of them. Like, all of the techniques are replicable. And if you had a team that was also developing unique assets, I'm talking things like when you go on to a reference site like Pixiv or Pixabay, they've got millions of stock photos everywhere. But when it comes to something very specific, like a specific temple or a specific object, they usually have one angle of that thing. When if you're trying to make a whole design with one kind of pattern, like you could take one rose, but then shoot like 20 different shots of the same thing and use them all in different places as a type of patterning, and as like dogs or temples or like anything. And then like looking at open source art as well, there's so much amazing open source art that's already in the copyright free space. Oh my god, sorry. I'm nerding out here. Like, it's gonna be difficult to be this guy's friend. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make it difficult. And I'm still trying to figure out whether like working on drawing tutorials in comics and design, because that's very expansive. And you could do that just putting together like a couple limited comic series and a tutorial series, but also demonstrating things like potential in collaborative game design. Like, here is a framework for a game with designs of all the areas and characters, And I've shown that I can do this, but just to do it at a higher level, where all my stuff is organized, and I have like a schedule as well, and you're working with a schedule, and like you're collaborating, you have partners and team members, so it's not just like you're in a closed space, you're in an open space. You're working in a studio space together. That'd be magical. And it comes with accountability and motivation, both. Where it's like, okay, just getting started and doing the best you can is usually the best thing you can do in any situation. And how you get the highest EXP. Obviously, there's like a prep period, or like practice that you can do. If you meditate and do yoga and breathing and take a walk and do some affirmations and write down exactly what your goals are and take a little bit of time to just like work them over in your head before you do something, your work will usually be multiplied. So you want to do things as effectively as possible, but to get started and do your best is usually like you don't even have to do all of those things at all. So having a space setup that increases your productivity, increases your inspiration, increases your focus, right? It's huge. And a routine that's built for you and your personality. Are you someone that works best at night? Do you work best in the morning? Do you like long open breaks periods between your work? Whatever works best for you to build that space. But then to just throw all your cards on the table wherever you're at, and to move forward, like to make a drawing tutorial series as good as you can, to do your best. And then, whenever you have an extra week or a while, you just build on it, or you reframe it. You take what you've learned from them and make it better. And then you like build an audience, Okay, I think this is probably quite enough for today. I was gonna talk about Gunhead more, man. It's like in the videos that I sent, they're all like open ended, and this was supposed to be the bit that's like, okay, those are all a bunch of fun ideas, but then how do we put it into a concise plan that can move forward? Whether I go to UK or like Chicago or somewhere, which isn't that far from here, to set up a nice ass studio space. I have a city, is another city that's not that far from here. Because I love a thriving social space to be in with like young people and college students and older people who have all kinds of experience. At cafes and bars and hacky sacking and going for walks in parks. I thrive on this. I thrive on like an active space. Even just doing like Reiki energy healing. If you have apartment on the second or third story of like a busy city street, you're gonna sit there and look at all the people and just send them positive energy, to wish them the best, to wish them a day of blessings and healing, to just be in that space, like sending love out to the universe and receiving love back from the universe, to get in alignment with who you are and your goals and dreams, and to believe in those dreams, to make them active, not passive. A lot of people have passive dreams. It's like, I would love to, but, and they have all kinds of excuses and justifications and limiting beliefs that they've built up over a lifetime. And maybe it's something other people said or did or didn't do. The patterns and experiences of the people around us usually shape what we think is possible. To break out of that mold and to make your dreams active, to be pursuing them every day. And even that call to adventure, like the universe hears it when we're talking about synchronicity, like finding random collaborators, partners, chance friends, just acquaintances on the street. If you set an intention and you go out there with that intention, you will find what you're looking for in the most unexpected of ways, right? Like if you have a hope or a dream or something, you're sending it out to the universe, in your prayers at night. It lines things up for you in mysterious ways, all of a sudden, like, you have to be willing to go for it, but the life of your dreams will take you, it will sweep you up in that current, and you can like actively start being your own hero, the person of your dreams, if you imagine in your mind like the ideal version of yourself, what are they doing? Concisely doing perfect drawings and sending them to all the right people, having a perfectly timed presentations, neither too long nor too short, that hit all the bullet points, but then make it fun and exciting as well. Okay, we'll see what we can do. I can just leave you with that. We could just talk about Gunhead for a minute. Yeah. I could probably like cut this down to like 10 minutes. Like, all these tangents have been good, and it's all mission statement type stuff where the projects that I want to make are cool, but it is all like 100% about the ripple effect those projects create, like the impact that they have in someone's life, and the way that shapes their life, and the relationship with the people that are most important to them is always going to be more important than a game. And in that way, the game takes on a real life and value that is so much larger than any of the base components. And we're talking about games that are like $100 million game, but then the amount of value that it adds to so many people's lives is like billions of dollars of value. Huge. Changing people's trajectories and giving them hope, giving them inspiration. Any kind of new game, like just watching people play the new Monster Hunter game and everyone getting excited about it, and that shared space of excitement. And this is whenever a new game comes out, everyone getting excited about it at the same time. There's no pain there, there's not all the limiting beliefs and the stories that we tell ourselves, they take a back seat in that space, and it's just like present moment awareness happiness and joy and excitement, you know? Um, and I feel like you take that with you as well. You're playing an awesome new game, but then you set it down, it's still in the back of your mind. It's something that's cheering you up. It's something that's getting you excited. Like the little things tend to bounce off you. You have armor at that point, you know? You build up this armor. Um, and that's something that's like invaluable too. And to engage people's creativity, something that makes you think your imagination is valuable, right? You can be creative and to innovate on your own life in any way, shape, or form that you choose. In a world that often says, like, you know, innovations are for other people. You can buy and sell them at the store, and then you sacrifice yourself at your job so that you can buy all these cushy things that when if you have a job that you love, and instead of sacrificing yourself, you like give of yourself, but also you gain energy back from it, and you are the conscious and deliberate creator of your own reality. You know, you're writing your own destiny every day. You're not like playing out this old story decided by your parents and their parents and the culture before you, you know? Like you have this predestined existence that you don't even agree with, you know, to support this, like the weight of the world. And we don't need that. You know, we need people excited about their lives and their times, the unique shared experiences that we have together, you know? The value in that. So that you can encourage people to be there for the people around them, you know, not to miss this day, you know, to like let people know that you care and to share space, you know, not to be on autopilot, to wake people up. And to be able to do the clothing design, you know, to see new and unique, fantastic clothing, to be able to do the comic book stories, like inspirational, galvanizing stories that do things in new ways, and using that to pitch an idea that could then become something larger. Like comics are the, you know, leading source material for most of our Hollywood blockbusters and many of our video games as well, you know, and animations, like all of our animations, not all of them, but having that base still frame and that idea or a dream. And if you have that idea or dream, and even if it's something like just like a variation on one of your favorite things, you know, like D. Gray Man was like gothic Kingdom Hearts, you know, if you listen to Final Fantasy soundtracks, so cool. Um, but like anything, taking something like that, like Kingdom Hearts and Ghibli, you know, and Spirited Away, and their haunting train sequence where it's the train is going over like the water to capture something that had that melancholy vibe, but like on the edge of a dream. And there'd be like lamp posts and like checkered marble floors, and be like a puzzle game. Be like a girl with blue hair and amnesia or something. And she's like exploring this space, and there's like all these spirits that tell these like sad stories, but she's trying to figure out the mystery of this town. And there's like a time loop or something, you know, it's set up in a time loop, and it's this like kind of sad but yet magical. Where Kingdom Hearts does that in a couple spaces, more sad and nostalgic and magical. Even in Kingdom Hearts, I don't know if you can be more magical than Kingdom Hearts. We're just, you know, talking concept. And then I don't know, you could have RPG battles and they're turn based. You know, you could collect monsters and fight with them, and do character stories, or you're like fighting shadows or dreams or something, or like freeing people from. There's a million ways you could go with that, but finding like an arts direction, things like the shadows and reflections on water, like the texture of mist in like parks, like the dusk, the way the world glows blue or glows like orange and then fades to blue. It's like a day-night cycle. Um, anything like that, you know? If it's something that's similar to your favorite things, then you start turning it on its head and exploring different ideas. And then if you open it up to a collaborative space where someone else has some other ideas, like maybe their puzzle mechanics are really unique, or it becomes like a strategy RPG with like a game board type thing in different parts, than other sequences are entirely narrative. The narrative decisions affect the gameplay in some way, so that your game gets more and more unique as you play it. So it's got like good value for streaming communities, where even if everyone's streaming the same game, you go from stream to stream to stream and be like different each time, which is something that I think of in game design. I love that feature. I love RNG. I love the idea of a unique adventure where you build this game and it's really, really cool, but it's got so many variables that it breaks into millions of different compositions with all of the variables hitting at different timing and sequence. So even though there's the shared sense, there's also this playful, imaginative quality that captures unique moments on every stream. So it's not like you just watch one streamer and then you're like, I pretty much got the game from my favorite streamer. You get their impression and their unique takeaway. So it adds even value to that experience. But then, what was someone else's? And it's something totally different. I love that about Final Fantasy 14. Everyone's Final Fantasy 14 game looks a little bit different, even though like the narrative sequences all have this grand epic cinematic quality that follows like a somewhat like linear story with some divergences, obviously. But the things that you do in between, and the sequence that you take on quests, and the energy that you bring into your persona, you know, your avatar in the game, like whether it's like emotional or whimsical or playful or comical, you know, whether it's like about what's the dynamic in the bond with your friends and the other people that are sharing that space. I love that. I love that. Sorry, seems like I'm just um, talking for the sake of talking. But I'm trying to like capture what is most interesting about game design, and to try and ignite within you even the fire of adding your own imagination to your favorite things, and not to be intimidated by them, but inspired by them. Right? To try out different variations and styles. Um, I've been shooting ideas around with the New Zealand artist, awesome artist, Grumbly on Twitch. Super cool guy. Like thinking of like what would a next gen Skyrim look like a totally expansive space. Um, but then you could throw so many different types of gameplay elements. You know, you can make the combat more like Elden Ring, but it's first person, so you want it to be like different than Elden Ring, less like tactical evasions encounters, but you could have some tactical evasions encounters in there, and in a really like super detailed, highly rendered, like back and forth exchange of attacks, and the exploration, the seamless transition from exploration to combat sequences. How you could have like really good AI. We're in the Elder Scrolls game. If someone sees you, everyone sees you, like instantly. If someone sees you, you know, they have line of sight on you until they like shout, and then someone else has like a general idea where you are, unless they point directly to where you are. So like, it have degrees of limited stealth in all of these tactical type situations. Um, so, you know, like evasion and running from fights, like it'd be a hard ass game where you couldn't just like stand there and take 20 guys, but you divide them into individual fights and like best them with like a rock, paper, scissors kind of synergy. between like dual weapons, heavy weapons, weapon and shield counter, magic abilities, or being a rogue or something. And just thinking of this, like, what are the magic items that bring this game to life? And putting, a bunch of time in there. Really, really cool, really fun. And you can see it in your mind's eye. Like the most beautiful, immersive, 3D, interactive game space, right? And give yourself a couple $100 million of budget. Imagine it a little bit better than any game has ever been. That's something that I've always kind of been able to do. Was ever since I was a kid, when I dreamed, sometimes I would dream in games that were like of a generation beyond anything that I'd ever played. And I would always get a magical feeling when I woke up of like, God damn it, I was enjoying exploring that game so much. I had a dream of like Kingdom Hearts 3 like 10 years before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. And it was really, really cool. Or like RPG type scenarios in this expansive space. No, I had a dream of like the ideal, perfect Final Fantasy fusion. After watching your stream for a while, it was definitely like 16 plus 14, and 7 Rebirth as well. Like the crystals and tech, and the sense of adventure. And it was so cool, like waking up feeling like just charged for life. Everyone should always remember to dream as well. Don't just see the world as it is, but see the world for what it could be. To use your imagination and to see the world isn't as in a set state. The world is in a constant flux state of different potentials. It's constantly changing and moving, and with your focus, you can actualize those potentials. Where out of all the infinite possibilities in front of you, use your willpower to like bring to life that highest potential. Sorry, I'm repeating myself. I'm gonna get a hyper concise mission statement of all the stuff that I got right now, but then just make it fun and open for building content. And like moving forward, I've got lots of ideas. Yeah, no, I advocate for things that are like much beyond even the scale of everything that I hope to accomplish, which is quite ambitious as well, but realistically ambitious when you look at like how much innovation can you have, how many things can you learn, where can you put your imagination, where does your inspiration go to, what are you going to invest yourself in? And it can be so much, because this world is expansive and amazing, and there's no skill cap to how much you can learn about anything. It's infinite, and goddamn beautiful. Okay. Katie's on the move. Sanjay on the move. And I'll be back. Some pretty good hopes and dreams part 2. I don't know. To just get in like rhythm though, where all of my bullet points and mission statements have been hit, and then you can just elaborate on them a little bit. If you have the benefit of the doubt that someone already knows what you're talking about, then you can reference it really quickly and add things to it, which is really cool. It's something I'm going to, try to do. But they're like all of our foundational materials are there in those videos or something, and you make them as good as you can, and then I don't know, every year you update your foundational materials with everything that you've learned, and people would still go back to the OGs, the originals, because maybe there was a unique moment in time that made it captivating, unless it was just a complete upgrade, and you're like, the new stuff is just better. So that stays in a state of evolution, but to get the content out in whatever state that you can, so you can start making those improvements. Um, and to try and keep that light sense of like, you can't fail, you'll never really get it done, you'll never hit a finished state, so just do your best and try and have a good time, you know? Like, that's so important. It's so important to do that, 'cause then, you're gaining energy. You're regaining energy and you're building inspiration with whatever you're doing, I want that. And the thing about wanting to be a mentor and guardian and giving freedom and sovereignty, but supporting guardianship to my little brother and sister, and then to do that to a larger community and audience, and to encourage others to a role of guardianship as well for people that are younger than them, to use their experiences in ways that help other people who are like going through the same things, so they don't have to go through the same challenges as you, to share your experiences in an empathic and non-judgmental kind of a way, and everyone just helping each other, to set a positive momentum in that way, so people can get excited about helping each other. All right, little man. All right. Peace and love, Frankie. I hope that you're doing so good. I hope that you're doing so good this morning. It's so good to see you. I know there's struggles on the journey. I'd love to hear about what's going on in your life. If you ever need someone to vent to, this guy loves your content, loves the space you create. Love to hear you out about anything, truly. Yeah, we'll leave it there.